Welcome to The Real Review, sponsored by Parametric and Lazy Ape Studios, where you get some of the latest happenings, real thoughts, and perspectives in the world of film and television. Welcome to, as well, our coming soon and new segment. Right, Matt?
For sure.
Yeah, I'm Joel Cunningham, and I'm here with...
Matt Hay.
How you doing, Matt?
Doing good, man.
Yeah, I'm liking it.
Yeah.
I'm liking everything you've got going on right now.
Good chill vibes.
Yes, and we are here for our coming soon segment, which is where we cover all things that are coming soon in the coming soon in the world of films that's going to be releasing in the next few days or so, as well as discuss some different industry news and updates on things that we've talked about previously with some news stories. So we're going to be talking about a couple films today that are releasing this weekend.
Yes.
One of which is huge
release.
Ginormous.
I would say this is probably going to kick off our summer season.
Yes.
It seems like March has been the new summer season for quite some time now.
Yes, and we are attempting to do, I will say this, because I don't want to say what in case this doesn't happen.
Right.
But we are attempting to do something special with this review coming up.
Yes.
So stay tuned for that.
Yes.
Hopefully that does happen.
Right, yeah, I hope so too.
Can I do that? Can I plug it that way?
Yes, that works perfect.
Cool.
But this movie that we're talking about is Logan.
Yes.
And we talked about this probably on our first podcast, on episode 1.
Yes.
Being on our most anticipated list of this year. And we've talked about this a number of times, just our excitement level for it, just kind of the synopsis of what's going on. But just as a recap, in the near future, a weary Logan cares for an ailing Professor X in a hideout on the Mexican border. But Logan's attempt to hide from the world and his legacy are upended when a young mutant arrives being pursued by dark forces. Directed and written by James Mangold, or story by James Mangold, and screenplay by Scott Frank. There's some other ones as well, but the starring Hugh Jackman, Patrick Stewart, and Daphne Keane. Yeah, Daphne Keane. And
I think you got it.
Right. So this is Logan. This is future Wolverine.
Yes.
From what we know from our X-Men universe.
Mm-hmm.
And Hugh Jackman's last go at it.
Yes. Very last one.
His last
one
go.
For the road.
And I read. Okay, so there was an interview too this last week where Hugh Jackman was like, "Hey, is this really your last one?" He's like, "Yeah, this is gonna be my last one."
Yeah.
And then where he said there's if he would have had the opportunity to cross over to be in an Avengers film, he said it might be a different story.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but that can't happen because Fox owns the right to him, and I can't see them signing anything over to Marvel at this point in time. But
I would love to see that happen. I already have a replacement in mind for him.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, Tom Arnold. Just kidding.
Tom Arnold. Haven't seen him in anything in the last 15 years.
I think he would be a perfect replacement for him. No, actually, another Tom though, Tom Hardy.
Yeah,
I think
I've heard that too. He's kind of. I think I've heard that in the movie going spheres that I am in.
Yeah. So we're not talking about replacements to this, but if there was one, he's got my vote right now.
Anyway, I'm really excited for this. The buzz coming out of this. Fox did their press screenings last week, and it's getting very, very positive reviews. It still has a 95% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yes,
which is really encouraging.
It is very encouraging. I will say that I'm sure they were targeting. And not to, I'm the critic guy, but they're going to target their guys and girls that are going to review it and probably give them the best review possible, for the first round of reviews.
Right.
But it still is a good sign. I mean, it still is a good sign that they were able to bring in an audience of reviewers that generally all did have a very positive mindset behind the film. And I am more excited about it. I think I've gone from, I was at maybe a 6.5 out of 10 to 7 to more of like a 8 almost.
Right.
On excitement level.
So this is okay. So this is rated R outing for Wolverine. So parents probably don't take your young children to this.
Yes.
There was parents that took their kids to go see Deadpool because it's a superhero movie.
Yeah, he's wearing a costume.
They can't, and they were blaming the theater and they were blaming the people who made the movie.
There's a reason we have a rating system.
I know, and that's poor parenting.
Yeah,
that's what that is.
Yeah,
but this is rated R, and it's gonna be brutal.
Yeah,
from what I'm hearing. But I am incredibly excited about this, as I am most things that. Just in general, I'm an excitable person, I guess. But Patrick Stewart, I'm excited to see him. Just in general. There was also a viral video that was released with Daphne Keane as the X-23 character. And the video is of her, and you can see it online. It was something that Fox released of her like seeing like this like really like crazy, like it was almost like the old like 8mm reel like footage, and it's all grainy and stuff of like her like getting her claws and stuff like that, and it was kind of cool actually. But yeah, I'm really pumped. I mean, do you have anything else to add to it?
No, she's the person that I'm least excited about seeing in this film. I mean, it's not her. It's not like I have a problem with kid actors
it's
or
not
little
you,
girls
it's
or
me.
something. Yeah, it's I don't like little kids in action movies, and that's the one thing that's stopping me from really getting excited about this film.
Right.
I know James Mangold has done some great projects, and but always with an adult audience for the most part. I mean, for an adult casting.
Yeah.
3:10 to Yuma, Wolverine, Walk the Line. I mean, there was kids in some of those films, but the main emphasis, the main energy is spent talking about adults with adult material and adult aspects and ideas and themes. And so I'm still a little hesitant. I'm still a little fearful. And what they're going to do is they're going to turn this little kid into like this adult that's basically in a little kid's body.
Right.
Which just, I can't stand.
Right. Going with really low expectations, I think you'll be surprised.
I've got good expectations. I mean, I'll probably just have to kind of be like grin and bear it, just like, all
okay.
right.
1 to 10, what's your excitement level for this?
Well, I think I mentioned I'm at like an 8.
Oh, you're an 8. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm 10. I'm going all out. I'm really excited for this.
Full tilt.
Full scale, pedal to the metal.
So
kind
this
of deal.
a 10 to me is like a midnight showing. That's like lining up for the midnight showing. Are you going to do that or?
Well, I have 3 kids and work in the morning, so yeah,
Don't
probably
have a
not.
choice. Gotcha. Fair enough. Well, you take the kids, just because we told them not to. You could be one of those Deadpool kids.
Oh
people.
my gosh, no, thank you. But
Cool.
yeah, so that's it for our excitement for Logan coming up. But yeah, check it out if you're a fan. I think you'll be pleased. I hope so.
Yeah. So our next film, is on the exact opposite side of the spectrum. You couldn't probably get a more different kind of film to go and compete with Wolverine, which maybe is a good thing because Logan is violence and craziness.
It's what we like to call counter programming.
There you
go. So when you have a film such as Logan being released, that can be just action, violence, and brutal and kind of bleak, maybe.
Yes.
Well, I don't know if this one's going to be any less bleak, but it's The Shack.
Yes.
And it's based off a novel. Am I correct? Okay,
correct.
so...
by the same name.
Right. So a grieving man receives a mysterious personal invitation to meet with God at a place called The Shack.
Wow. Just spoiled it right there.
Right. So director Stuart Hazeldine. That's right. Okay. Written by John Fusco, Andrew Lanham, but primarily starring Sam Worthington, Octavia Spencer, Tim McGraw.
Yeah.
Yeehaw.
Yeehaw. I was going to sing a little song probably about halfway through.
Right. Radha Mitchell as well. But so I've seen the trailer for this. Actually, I remember specifically, and this is, I don't know why this stands out to me, but I saw this trailer before La La Land when I took my wife to go see La La Land.
Yeah.
And the first thing she said to me after watching it was like, I don't know if I can see this movie. And I think it's just kind of that relatability to in the trailers. If you've seen the trailers, it's I haven't read the book, but it's a camping trip that's gone awry.
Yeah.
Daughter goes missing, ends up dead somehow. And I
believe she's kidnapped.
Okay.
I'm not positive. But they make it look like she's kind of kidnapped.
Right.
Maybe not though.
Yeah, because he's talking about like forgiving somebody.
Yeah.
Anyway, so it's really the dad's like journey on trying to come out of it, kind of
forgiveness
a thing.
And dealing with the grief and mourning.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and I bring up that story that I was talking about my wife telling me that, and I think I'm going to feel the same way. I know I do for sure. I put myself in those shoes, and that's what makes me kind of more that emotional person, is that it's going to be a rough movie going experience for people that do connect emotionally, that have kids, that are like, oh my gosh, I can't believe what this guy's going through right now, because they can relate to, like, oh my gosh, what would happen if my kid were, if that were happening in that situation.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know how I feel about this right now, other than I'm interested to see what it's about.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not generally super excited about it, but Octavia Spencer.
Yeah, she's a great actress.
Yeah, and I'm excited to see her.
Well, she can be good. I haven't seen her in a ton of stuff that I've been like, oh my gosh. But
I think she's great. Everything I've seen her, I think she's great. But
Hidden Figures, she did really good in Hidden Figures.
Sam Worthington, I think, is a great actor, but typically his great acting has been showcased in films where he's not the main character.
Agreed.
Not the lead actor.
Correct.
So, like, for example, most recently, I'm thinking of Everest. I thought he was really, really good in that. He wasn't carrying the movie, but all of his scenes, like, I was like, okay, yeah, this is good. I see where they get this. So I'd be more curious to see how he handles this, because I didn't think he did super well with. He did okay in Avatar, but I'm talking about Terminator Salvation.
Yeah, not a good one.
I wasn't entirely on board with that. It seemed like
that was a pretty bad movie in general,
right?
So maybe don't hold that against him. But yeah,
right. So
yeah,
I mean, he's okay, but he's not like every time he's in. Oh, Sam Worthington's in this movie, but he's been great as an auxiliary character.
Yeah.
And
we get, for as far as directing this, we're getting a pretty new novice director. I mean, he's got sort of 3 big credits to his name right now. He's got a short film, which is Christian, and then another film called Exam, which I have not seen, and then this. So it's a pretty big, unchallenged director in a lot of ways, which isn't necessarily a good sign. And you do have an okay cast of people, but I don't think you have Tim McGraw. You have a kind of a hodgepodge. I think there's a lot of actors that are okay. I definitely think Sam Worthington's like the big name.
Yeah.
Except for maybe Octavia. She's kind of had a lot of breakout, especially with like Hidden Figures and stuff.
Right.
But I don't know. I'm a bit hesitant to get excited about this one at all. I think there's just nothing about it that's really like yelling out to me. I think there's a certain kind of audience for this, and I'm not going to say who, but I think you know who you are. And if you see the film and you're like, ooh, that would really resonate with me. It would do something. It's like people that are looking for a film that's going to do something emotionally connecting, like in an emotional, dramatic.
It's almost like
sense.
A niche film for a very specific.
It's like a niche drama. You know what I mean? It's like a certain kind of drama film that's really just about an emotional. It's like What Dreams May Come, with Robin Williams. It's visually kind of something. It's taking you to this place where it's almost story within a story, type thing. So if those kind of movies where there's a lot of drama, probably a lot of tears, dealing with your inner demons and that type of stuff, and I'm guessing this is a story of overcoming. It'll probably be like a bittersweet overcoming thing, where it's like I've dealt with it, but I'm still, the loss is still there. Then that's your thing. And I never read the book.
Me neither.
I don't know a lot about it. I know that it's a metaphor of the Bible and Christianity and God and everything like that. And I think that carries its own sense of contention for some people is this going against, Christians and stuff like that. So I don't know. We'll see.
It's so, it has the, possibility. I think the success of this film is going to be, a lot based on the book.
Yeah.
It's going to be based on how close it stays true to that story.
Yeah. For
all the fans of that. If it can stay close to the story, and has good filmmaking qualities to win the critics over, then I think maybe it has a chance to do something good. But usually with adaptations, there can be, just issues in general. Yeah. So
I would also say this. I don't know if there's a non-release of reviews, but they have no reviews for it listed on IMDb right now.
Okay, yeah.
Which is probably a really bad sign.
Yeah, when there's an embargo on reviews or no press screenings, again, that's usually a bad sign for a film. It means they're trying to hide it to get away from any potential negative press.
Correct. Yeah, especially when you're this close out.
Right.
So again, my excitement is not super high for this one. If they're going to release a film like this, I think, like we talked about, this is probably the perfect time to do it because you're coming up against another film that's going to be super
opposite.
intense action type opposite, blood, killing people. So yeah. Well, that's funny. Not funny, but one side we have a little kid killing people, on the other side you have a kid that's been. I'm not going to say that.
Right. Let's not go there, Joel.
A kid that's no longer with us, unfortunately.
And you are our critic today.
Yeah.
So excitement number, rate it.
2.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Really I would give it a 5. I'm kind of interested.
Okay.
I'd like to see what it's about because I know a lot of people that read the book and liked it, but I don't. I think it's just going to depend.
You're welcome to go check that one out. Then,
right.
Man. Maybe take your wife and have a little date.
She
night.
won't want to go see it. Anyway.
Yeah.
But
cool.
So that's it for coming soon. Just the major releases. There is now there are a couple of news items.
Mm-hmm.
I want to dive into it. And real quickly, our very first news item. We don't need to spend a lot of time on this because this is our third time addressing this.
I think we should talk a lot about this. 'Cause somebody's doing something somewhere to.
A couple weeks ago, we talked about how Matt Reeves was in talks to direct the next standalone Batman film with Ben Affleck for the new the standalone Batman film.
Yeah.
Last week, actually, so we talked about it last week, but the episode dropped like 4 days ago, whatever. We talked about how negotiations went awry. Matt Reeves decided, or Matt Reeves is no longer in talks.
Yeah.
Now, actually the day after we released that, we found out that he is actually back on board.
Yay!
Magically, Matt Reeves is going to be officially directing the standalone Batman film with Ben Affleck.
See, Matt, here's what happened. I know this for a fact.
I don't know.
Listen to our podcast. He heard us say all the reasons for why it didn't make any sense for him to leave, and he said, I need to get back on board.
Yeah.
And he jumped back on board. That's what happened.
That makes a lot of sense.
It does, doesn't it?
Yes. Okay.
Yeah. And he's purposefully doing this because he's like, you know what? I'm not going to let those two boys be right. Those guys are going to be
Matt Reeves is one of our devoted listeners, everybody.
Yeah. Thank you, Matt Reeves, for listening.
Hashtag sarcasm.
Yeah. But, it is funny because that's how quickly things like this change in the industry. There's always this changes and that changes and this is happening, reshoots and rewrites and da-da-da. And he's back on board now. Next week, by the time we release this, could be back off board again,
Right. That's the thing with news. So, and kind of going off speculation, sometimes we don't fully know the whole story, but that's that. So I want to change it up the order, I think, here, because I want to talk about this too. We just had a chance to watch this.
Yes.
There is a new trailer for a movie called Bright coming out. And just because it's just kind of an odd, different release.
Yes. It's a bit of it's going by the beat of its own drum.
Right.
Yeah.
So Bright is a Netflix exclusive release, but obviously we've seen a lot of those recently. But this one has the star power of Will Smith, Noomi Rapace, Joel Edgerton, and a few other people. But it's also directed by David Ayer, who unfortunately most recently did Suicide Squad, but he also did the likes of Fury, which I really liked.
Right.
And writer Max Landis, who can be hit or miss sometimes.
Yeah.
But I think he's very creative. Let's just say that.
Yeah.
So there is a ton of really talented people behind and in front of the camera. It's set in a world where mystical creatures live side by side with humans. A human cop is forced to work with an orc to find a weapon everyone is prepared to kill for. Right. So this is kind of, they say orc, I just think of Warcraft immediately.
Yeah.
And it's kind of got that fantastical fantasy vibe to it.
They put a brief description on IMDb here, and I think this is a great way of explaining it. It's a contemporary cop thriller, but with fantastical elements.
Really? Okay, cool. So with that, it looks fascinating. It's a 30-second teaser. And it starts off like very real world, Will Smith is a cop or something.
It feels like it's like a crime drama type.
And then it shifts into this thing where you see this dude with this crazy face, which is, I'm assuming, the orc.
Yeah.
Or a orc.
Yeah.
And then it gets into the Warcraft fantasy vibe. It gets into crazy, he picks up the sword and it turns into, I don't know. I'm really intrigued by this. I really want to see more. Might be too early to say, if it looks really great or not. I'm going to go with it is too early because it's a 30-second teaser. But I think the important thing with this, more so than just the teaser itself, is Netflix is really, and just streaming services in general. I mean, we saw this with not only Amazon Prime with Manchester by the Sea, who's in an Oscar-winning film now that was released on Amazon Prime, which is, this is changing the game. And we had it with Emmys with House of Cards, and there's another one too. But the big thing with this is that they're really stepping out. This is changing the game. We're slowly seeing that shift. This is changing the game. I talk about it on the website that we have, of what streaming services can provide and how theaters are not the only medium that can be considered for being a major film awards consideration even, you know?
I think it's a very big evidence of that. I think you're going to see more and more shift towards this. There's
I love
no
it.
reason. I love it too. I think I'm so glad in a way that what they're doing and they're enabling is they're putting the art form back in the hands of creative individuals.
Right.
And that can sometimes bite you, and it can sometimes be bad, and you'll see bad things come from that. But a lot of the time, that is a good thing. Yeah. But what ends up happening is, as with all things, it becomes super successful. Hollywood became super successful, and then more and more business people get involved, and then it creates more red tape, and then it all gets held down again, and then everything becomes very stale and formulaic, and they've lost that sense of new and creative and different that's coming out of most of the major studios.
Right.
And so it's like a breath of fresh air to see that Netflix, and this movie could stink. Like, to be honest, I'm not sold on it yet. I'm not super excited about the fact that it's made by David Ayer, who did Fast and Furious and Suicide Squad and stuff like that. But I'm excited they're trying. I'm excited they're making an attempt to do something that is like a new thing, and it's got a new feel to it, and it's new, a new theme and a new element that kind of plays with the story. So
yeah.
I'm excited for it for that reason. I hope that, Amazon Studios keeps going. I hope that Netflix picks up more films and starts doing it.
Yep.
I will say as well, I'm hoping there are other, type groups start doing it. I'd love it. We talked about this, Apple, if they were to start trying to get into the filmmaking world, because they've got their own kind of Apple universe that they've got out there.
I think it opens the door. I think this is just furthering of pushing that door open to allow more creativity and people that wouldn't be able to get their films produced any other way.
Yeah, and they've got, the one thing that HBO has started this a while back. Like, HBO is making a lot of their own content, their own shows.
Right.
But they were always very limited. They always kind of had one or two films maybe a year, every other year. Whereas with Netflix and Amazon, they're trying to bust it out. They're going tons of shows and tons of different, and they must be bleeding money. That's all I can say. I know they're doing well, but they're really competing too. And that's the cool thing is you see that the Amazon and Netflix are not only competing for subscriber base, but also to create the best content.
And that's good for the content.
It's good for us.
Yeah, it's good for us. It's great for us.
Compete.
Yeah, compete. Make everything
capitalism.
Really awesome.
There you go.
But anyway, excited about that. Just for that aspect. As far as the movie is concerned, don't know much about it. It looks fantastical. I never would have thought in a million years, or at least if you would have asked me 5 years ago, Will Smith being released in a movie just on a streaming service, I would have said no way.
Yeah.
But the times are changing.
Yeah. The Will Smith brand's not as big as it was.
Right.
I would say that.
Very
but
true.
I agree with you.
Very true.
Yep.
So that gets into the next little news piece. It's less of a news piece, more of it is kind of a recap piece, because last night was, well, not last night. Is it last night?
Yeah, last night.
Yeah, last night.
It's been so long.
Yeah, there was a fancy little show that happens once a year.
Yeah.
It's called the Academy Awards, a.k.a. the Oscars.
Yes.
And with that, I don't know if you stuck around to see the ending of that thing, Joel.
I didn't actually get a chance to watch the Oscars. I know, boo.
Okay.
How crazy. I didn't watch the Oscars. I'm not a big fan. Usually watching award shows like that, I think it's interesting to see who wins, but once you get, obviously I'm killing myself as a critic type person, but once you get more into it and you start realizing what it goes into these films winning,
right?
It kind of removes some of the novelty of it, and
right.
A lot of and it's cool because some films do win that deserve to win and are good films, and a lot of the films usually are good films that are nominated, but it's really a political game.
Yeah.
It's a huge part of it. And so I'll usually read up on it later and kind of see the running gags or see who won what. And sometimes I'm yeah, they could really see that. And other times I'm I don't know, why did they win,
Right.
And so I think I missed it, but I did watch the highlight that I think you're talking about.
Yep.
which was hilarious. So they basically have the presentation for the best screenplay, the best best film of the year, and they're up there. It's Warren Beatty and who?
Faye Dunaway,
and they're doing the presentation, and they had been given, I guess, the wrong envelope.
Yep.
And so they announced the winner as La La Land, and then turns out, wah wah.
Yeah.
It's actually Moonlight. So hilarious. I mean, awful hilarious at the same time. I'm sure the people that thought that they won that didn't win were probably really upset afterward, but
possibly.
Yeah, but
for what it was, because it was one of the producers for La La Land that like made the call, like said, "Hey, this isn't ours. Moonlight, you guys won. Come up here. This is not a joke." See?
Yeah.
And I thought that part, other than it being just awkward overall in general, that part I thought was handled well. I thought that was very. Good. I'm glad that he did that.
Yeah.
Even Jimmy Kimmel after the fact was. I thought he handled it in an okay way.
I thought he did. I thought Warren Beatty's explanation of it was a bit like, okay, like you explain it later. Let them get up at least and do their award thing. But that was a little bit odd. So, I understand why he did it. He's probably trying to save face.
So here, just to give you kind of a thing, the Academy Awards actually posted an apology.
Yeah.
On their site, and I'll read it. So. We sincerely apologize to Moonlight and La La Land, Warren Beatty, and Faye Dunaway, and the Oscar viewers for the error that was made during the award announcement for Best Picture. The presenters had been mistakenly given the wrong category envelope, and when discovered, was immediately corrected, which means a bunch of people with microphones came running up on stage to like tell people what was going on.
Yeah.
So we are currently investigating how this could have happened and deeply regret that this occurred. We appreciate the grace in which the nominees, the Academy, ABC, and Jimmy Kimmel handled the situation.
Yeah.
So, so it was definitely awkward. I felt bad. I felt bad on both sides of the spectrum. I felt bad because I feel like Moonlight, their victory is going to be overshadowed a little bit by this just like debacle.
Yeah, the Kanye West of award ceremonies.
Right.
I'm going to let you finish, but...
Right.
Yeah.
Or a whole nother, like Jimmy Kimmel said, this is a Steve Harvey situation.
Yeah.
So you have that. I feel bad about that. And then I also feel bad on the flip side for La La Land. There were 3 acceptance speeches in by the time they got interrupted.
Yeah. Super
and
awkward.
then so like you think that's a dream, that's a lifetime dream for a lot of those people, and they're going up there like my dream came true, and then literally somebody crushes their dream.
It's like they should almost get like an honorary Oscar. Like it doesn't count, but they still get one. So
oh my gosh.
Yeah, overall I thought it was an interesting situation. I've heard that their numbers were down a little bit this year again for the Oscars. It's
been the lowest in like 10 years.
Yeah, which is pretty bad. I do think I was glad for Casey Affleck to win for Best Actor. I thought he did a great job, and I'm hoping to see more good things from him after this.
Cool.
Emma Stone, I would say it made sense for her to win Best Actress. She's been doing a lot of bigger, more dramatic, deep projects. I will say personally, I did finally see La La Land.
Yeah.
I thought she did okay in it. I thought she did good. There's a couple scenes in particular.
The audition scene was really good.
Yeah, the audition scene was really good. I would say there's I'm not like, oh my gosh, she has to win an Academy Award for this. It wasn't like the deepest. Right. It was kind of like, I think just more her story. It was like, this is kind of what she's had to go through. Right. So I thought she did good. Yeah. I thought, and better than average.
Right.
Whether or not she was the best of the year, I don't know.
But Damien Chazelle, I mean, some of that, so La La Land was probably not in my top 5.
Yeah.
Or maybe 10.
Yeah.
Of favorite films. I did really like it though. Mm-hmm. I will say this, there were a lot of scenes that were seemingly, and I think that deserving of Best Director, I think maybe I could see that with not just the choreography, but a lot of the takes, and there was a lot of long takes.
Yeah.
I do see that. There was a lot of other things though as well. Like I wish I could have seen Arrival get more love.
Yeah. See, that's the thing. I feel like if I could have seen anybody win it would have been an Arrival.
I know.
I feel like that definitely
that movie was great. I loved Arrival.
Yeah, and just the fact that they didn't even get nominated.
Right.
Really?
Well, they got nominated for other things, but
yeah.
Zootopia, be happy about that.
Yeah, I thought Zootopia was a great film.
That's the one thing. Animated films are the only films that really get judged for what's being released over the entirety of the year, because Zootopia was released in like March of last year.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how it always seemed to work. Big Hero 6 won for that year, and I think that came out in the February of that year.
Yeah.
2014 or whatever that was.
And Best Supporting Actress Viola Davis. I totally think she deserved that. I didn't think Fences was the best movie ever, but she was amazing in that movie. So.
Mahershala Ali, Best Supporting Actor, and diving into and this is another thing that I saw. Jungle Book, Best Visual Effects. I could totally see that. I think we talked about that.
Yeah, they deserved it. They did some amazing stuff there.
City of Stars, Best Original Song, and I say this because I'm a musician too, so I kind of look at this and I'm like, I do like the song, but I do like other songs that were released in the year earlier better. Like
I felt Moana.
Lin-Manuel Miranda. I feel like he should have won, but did you watch that performance? That was one of my favorite things.
I didn't see the performance.
Lin-Manuel Miranda did all the Hamilton stuff. He did all the Moana music. They did, I can't say her name, but the girl who sings the voice of Moana, Auhuli Cravalho.
Yeah.
Anyway,
good try if nothing else.
She sings how far I'll go.
Yeah, sing it, Matt.
But beforehand, Lin-Manuel Miranda does this like cool like interlude like rap thing, and he's done rap. I've seen him do rap, not just on the like Hamilton side of things, but like I said previously, he was in House for a while. He did this like 3 or 4 episode arc where he's like this rapper in a mental institution. It was kind of funny, but he's awesome. I'd like that better. Even Sing Street.
Yeah.
Drive It Like You Stole It. That song.
I love that song.
I know. It's so good.
I would have loved to see that win. I feel like this is a safe pick. I feel like the win for this song is like, of course, because it's taking us back to Hollywood. And that's part of what I don't really enjoy about a lot of the Oscars. It just feels like it's political.
And just kind of a wrap up on this. I think that overall, I would say that the awards were pretty evenly distributed. It wasn't like an Avatar or Titanic year where you have them sweeping like 11, 12 or 11 Academy Awards or whatever it is. I mean, it was pretty evenly distributed, it seemed like. Obviously Moonlight and La La Land had kind of a little bit more of the upper hand, but it wasn't like one was stomping out all the other competition, you know?
Agreed. Yeah. And for that sense, I agree. I think it was overall good that they did keep it mixed up a bit. Awesome. So that's going to wrap things up for us here on the podcast, the Coming Soon and News segment of the podcast. And so we just want to encourage you all for that you're listening in. Definitely check out our website, which can be found at realreviewmedia.com. And you can sign up for our newsletter there and also get connected to a lot of the cool stuff that we're constantly posting always throughout the day.
For sure.
Superfluous amounts of information. And as well as that and Facebook, we have a Facebook page, which is facebook.com/realreviewmedia. And if you have any thoughts, maybe something on the Oscars you felt was great or not great, maybe you want to comment on how you felt like the craziness of the Oscars went, or maybe it has to do with Matt Reeves, and I think he's going to not be with us again next week. So, and by with us, I mean part of the Batman project.
Right.
So you can email us if you have any thoughts at realreviewmedia@gmail.com. And that is all. So, Matt, anything left for us?
No, it's been real.
It's been real.